This is the Tri-State Time Machine, brought to you by Alex R. White, PLLC, at SueDistractedDriver.com. Each week, your host, Vanessa Hankins, and her guests share memories and stories about the past, the present, and the future of the Tri-State area. That's West Virginia, Kentucky, and the Ohio areas. If you used to live here, or you currently live here, you're going to catch yourself saying out loud, "Wow, I remember that." Now, here's Vanessa.
Hey Tri-State, and welcome back to Tri-State Time Machine. I'm your host, Vanessa Hankins, and it's March, month 3 of 12. The year's flying by with a quickness, although I will say February kind of threw some wrenches at us with all the snow that we had. But I have a treat for you today. On the show, I have Miss Lauren Patrick, Assistant Director of Greater Huntington Parks and Recreation. Hi, Lauren. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
I'm excited to have you here. We love Parks and Rec. I'm your kind of your neighbor down in that side of Huntington in the park. So it's pretty cool to have you in here. I think starting out, I'm going to back way up. I think, on one of your social media posts that you started at GHRPD in college. Is that correct?
Yes, technically, when I was in college, I went to college for Natural Resources and Recreation Management, which was the Bachelor's of Science degree. And when I was a sophomore in college, they had a program where you had to do a practicum, which is like an internship, but not nearly as intense.
Right.
And that's when I reached out to the folks at GHPRD to see if they had any room for me, if I could help out, if I could be involved. And that's kind of how I got my foot in the door back then.
So when you started, is it the same people now in leadership?
No, it is not. When I started, it was Kevin Brady and his wife, Kevin. Suzanne. They were very involved. He was the director, and Suzanne was very involved in events and activities at the time. So I kind of worked under her and learned just a small scope of what the park district does back then. And then after that, that class was finished, I kind of went on my own way for a bit, but then found myself back to the park district in 2015, where I've been ever since.
Okay, so did you always know that this is where you wanted to be, or did that internship kind of solidify it for you?
Honestly, no and no. I went to school thinking that I wanted to work in state parks. That was state national parks. That was always kind of the goal. I had worked my teenage years at Beach Fork State Park as a lifeguard, and then their summer naturalist. And I thought that that's where I was, destined to be. My thought when I finished my term in AmeriCorps and needed a job was, I want to stay local for a bit longer. This is a good opportunity to get my foot in the door. I never had any desire for municipal parks and rec. I kind of thought that it was going to just be a stepping stone to me moving on.
Something to put on the application in the future.
Yes, and I fell in love with it. I learned a whole new scope of parks and rec that I wasn't really familiar with, and I can't really imagine myself anywhere else now.
I could see that because from the outside looking in, I mean, I know it's a whole lot of hard work because I do events as well, but from the outside looking in, it looks like it is just a blast. The creative aspect of it and how all the pieces come together to really show up for our community is amazing.
Yes, and there's just so much more to it than I had thought, and that I think that the public even sees. Of course, Ritter Park is our flagship park.
Absolutely.
But we have like 16 neighborhood parks.
I was going to say, we have several parks. I don't know if you can think of them off the top of your head. I'm sure you can.
Yes, we have a lot of parks, and each of them are unique. They have their own amenities and their own playgrounds, and just
the area that you guys cover, I think, is astounding to me. I would have never thought Huntington Parks and Rec in Milton.
Yes,
like
we have a
you
park
wouldn't
in
think,
Milton, with a splash pad.
With a splash pad, it's super cool.
Yeah. It's just it's very more than meets the eye.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, not to throw this out of left field, but I think I remember seeing that you just recently passed some kind of test to become the water.
Yes.
What is the actual form? But
it's
the person that runs the splash pads.
Well, it's an aquatic facilities operator.
Okay.
I just got that certification. just so that hopefully I could be more helpful and more involved. We do have 2 splash pads, one at St. Cloud Commons and one at April Dawn Park. And I'm sure the public remembers this past year, St. Cloud
it was a nightmare for you guys, I'm sure.
I mean, they're very difficult to maintain, and everybody thinks it's way easier than a pool because it's just,
I will say, just from, again, being y'all's neighbors and knowing a little bit of the inside stuff, I didn't realize that the health department comes out and checks that.
Oh, absolutely.
And keeps tabs and makes sure that it's on the up and up for the community.
Yes.
I had no idea.
Yes, and you couple that with mechanical issues and it's not even vandalism. We've been very fortunate. The community has been wonderful to our parks and playgrounds and splash pads. But just the sheer amount of use that they're seeing, we have maintenance issues, and
absolutely,
that's
just
to be
like
expected.
Anything in life, right?
So
absolutely.
Just want to be able to help more if I can.
Oh, absolutely. So I think that's awesome. I think it's cool that even after all the years of being with Parks and Rec, that you are still growing that background for yourself to do above and beyond what is expected. When we were talking about splash pads a little bit, let's talk about St. Cloud's. That was a big deal for our community, and I think that was headed up by Kevin before he left, right?
Yes, Kevin and I worked very closely on the St. Cloud Commons all-inclusive playground. That was kind of our joint baby together because I was a development manager at the time for the park district, so I assisted and did a whole lot of fundraising, grant writing, soliciting, door to door, you name it, begging on the internet.
It takes the whole community for something like this.
Yes, and it was almost a $2 million project, and I feel really fortunate that I got to be involved as much as I was and help get that there. We've had to phase it out. We're still working on it.
Yeah, I was going to say it's still got some to go, right?
That's going on, and projects on the horizon to make it more accessible and better parking and better lighting and hopefully eventually a fence and
that'll be great. Yeah, that'll be fantastic. And we love that park. We go pretty often in the spring and summer. Sometimes, like you said, the sheer use that happens there, sometimes it gets very crowded and it's not for us. But
yes, no, I totally understand.
But I think that's
once.
great. Yeah, well, you get it, especially with him being young. Yeah. It's hard to have all those kids running around and knocking them down and all that. So it's a lot. Talk to me a little bit about how Parks and Rec works. We talked a little bit before the show started. I did some research, and I have that Huntington Parks and Recreation became a government agency for Huntington officially in 1990, but you said it started back when?
So we were established in 1925.
Wow.
We're actually getting ready to celebrate our 100th year anniversary. Hopefully have
exciting.
Some special things planned for that this summer. I don't really know about the specifics there. I'm sure that 1990 is some important date for us.
Something official, right? Something official on paper, but you guys have been going for a long time.
We've been going for 100 years.
That's amazing. Yes. Which it's not, I mean, it's shocking to hear 100 out loud, but at the same time, I'm not shocked because Huntington has always came through and showed out for its community in big ways in all the years past, I think. Yes. So I think that's pretty awesome that you guys were already organized and doing your thing and bringing recreation to the area far before my date that I got. Now, your boss is who?
Kathy McKenna. She's the executive director.
Okay, and she answers to a board, correct? Yes. Is that how the hierarchy works?
So the unique thing about Huntington Parks and Rec is we are not governed by the city of Huntington.
Which is a common misconception.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We are not. We work closely with the city of Huntington. They're our community and our friends and neighbors, and work closely with the mayor, but we don't answer to them.
Right.
We function under a 10-member board of directors.
Okay.
And Kathy, our director, serves under the board, and then everybody else falls under
that. Answer this if you can. You may, if you can't, it's not a big deal. It just popped into my head. How are the board members decided? Are those from different areas?
They're elected officials.
Okay.
And they're in different districts.
Okay. So kind of like our council people.
Yes. Very similar.
Okay, that's really cool. I love that because it lets every neighborhood have a say in what's going on in the community.
Yes.
No one's left out. I love that. You guys on social media are so fun to watch. I love it. Are you the brains behind the social media?
Yes, I am. I am the social media manager as of right now.
Okay.
So I wear a lot of
fun.
hats.
It's fun.
And,
yes,
and I enjoy it. Enjoy putting ourselves out there and sharing and just interacting with the community.
You get a lot of interaction. That's what I was going to say. As far as like some of the community pages go, your page gets a lot of interaction, especially when you guys do like your egg hunts and stuff like that.
Yes, we're creeping up on 20,000 followers, which I'm really proud of because when I started back in 2015, we had like less than 3,000.
I'm sure.
So our department has grown, our presence has grown, our social media has grown, and I
love it. I really do. I know I keep saying this, but like once a year when you guys do the egg hunt, I go crazy. And the Find the Elf, that one is always that's sheer entertainment.
Yes,
sheer entertainment.
That has really exceeded our expectations. Each year it gets a little crazier.
I enjoy it. I love that you guys had to lock the elf up, like to keep him safe.
Yes.
I think it's hilarious. So Parks and Rec is not just parks. You guys also have cemeteries. You have Spring Hill, the historic Guyandotte, and historic Pat's Branch. Tell me a little bit about Guyandotte and Pat's Branch and why they are historical and why they still matter to our community.
So we have Spring Hill, but we also have Highland Cemetery too.
I forgot one.
Yeah, so Spring Hill and Highland are still operational, meaning you can bury your loved ones there. We have a cemetery office and a cemetery staff that works out of Spring Hill Cemetery.
Okay.
And we've actually expanded some of our programming to Spring Hill because of how historic of a space it is, and we've gotten the privilege to tell some stories of those that are buried there the past few Octobers.
I've got to go to those events, and if you've never been, they sell out very fast, but they are so fun.
Yes, we added live actors this year.
I didn't get to go this year because it sold out really quick, and I'm forever bummed about that. But I'll be number one on the list next year.
As for the other two, they're historic cemeteries, meaning we just maintain and take care of them. Because people's loved ones are there.
Right.
The Guyandotte one is right next to the Mary Carroll House, which we also own.
Okay.
And the Pat's Branch one, I have never been there. I have been told, though, it's technically on, like, property either owned by or adjacent or in the Special Metals Complex.
Oh, okay. So it's like it's really, really old. It's before Special Metals came along, probably.
I would say so, yes.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Well, no wonder you've not been there. Who's just wandered around Special Metals grounds, right?
Right.
So recently you guys have, well, and I don't know how recent because you've had softball for quite some time, but you've added dodgeball, or is it kickball? To the
we don't run the kickball league, but we rent out. They use the old Olympic pool site.
They use the space,
and it is very popular for sure. I think
it's pretty popular.
Jewel City Kickball.
Jewel City Kickball. Okay, so shout out to them if you want to get involved in some adult intramurals. And then you guys have softball, which I played for. Gosh, I think 3 or 4 years, and then I retired on a high note right before I had my last baby. So that was 11 years ago. It's been a lifetime ago, but I got to retire on a high note, and we won the regional award, and then we went on and fought some other people off to get a trophy that stands like 7 foot tall.
Oh, cool.
And that's still in my garage today. So if anybody on our old team wants that, you are more than welcome to take it off my hands. The glory days are over. I can no longer run first to second base in a given amount of time before I get out. But yeah, the softball league, we had a lot of fun. Some of the umpires become like family that you guys hire, and they're members of the community too. And it's pretty cool. It was for me to see some of the umpires' children play softball with us, grow up in the league, and then become umpires themselves, which I think is pretty cool that that happens. Let's talk a little bit about some of the events that you guys throw on. We talked about the elf hunt and the extravaganza and stuff like that, but what are some other events that you're really proud of?
Well, it seems like we just keep doing more and more, and I'm excited because we've just hired a new recreation coordinator. So,
ooh, yay!
Yeah, so I was the previous recreation superintendent, and I've since moved to the assistant director position, and I'm still overseeing all the events and activities, but I do have a new person in there to bring their own flair and program. And
kind of guiding her and teaching her the ropes before you let go.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I do have a lot of ownership and pride in our events.
I could see that, especially with the amount of years that you've been there. A lot of these are your baby.
Yeah. And so with Easter, we kind of learned during COVID that we wanted to try something new, so we started doing smaller neighborhood Easter egg hunts so that we can control the crowd, control hopefully the germs. But the feedback from that was, please keep doing this. It
is so nice to have a local event because unless you belong, and not everybody belongs to a church family, but unless you belong to a church family, there really isn't these big community egg searches available to attend.
Right. So we went from doing one Easter egg hunt to 7.
That's
we have community Easter egg hunts in Rotary Park, April Dawn Park, Harris Riverfront Park, and St. Cloud Commons Park.
Oh, wow.
So we move throughout the district. We span it over 2 Saturdays. That way we're in the communities, we're in the neighborhoods, hopefully smaller crowd size, more intimate, better feedback.
Right.
And then of course we've expanded. We do paws in the park, which is huge.
So cute to see. Even if you don't have an animal, you definitely want to go and witness this. It's so great to watch.
Our doggy egg hunt. We are fortunate to be able to help Developmental Therapy Center with their all-inclusive Easter egg hunt, so we participate in that. And then we've recently started doing a teen flashlight Easter egg hunt. Oh,
that's fun. I didn't know about that one.
Yes, so that's for ages 13 to 17. We've actually got that coming up on April 4th.
Fantastic.
So we go to St. Cloud's. We wait till it gets good and dark, and we turn them loose with flashlights, and instead of winning plush bunnies and kids stuff, they get a lot of cool gift cards and things
that's
like
awesome.
So,
that kind of makes me jealous. Trying
to expand our programming for everybody. So that's on the Easter horizon. We just finished up as we're finishing up February, we finished Galentine's Day brunch, which is probably my favorite
Which is another event that sells out very quickly.
Yes, within an hour.
You guys do 2 events and they sell out
now.
quick.
Yeah. Yes. Used to just be one, and we were like, okay, we'll do 2 sessions, and then it sold out, and we probably need a bigger venue. That's probably one of our
I was going to say, it seems like it gets a little crowded.
Is the fact that we are kind of working with limited spaces indoors, but
I think it makes it more intimate, though. I think that part's cool because it seems to me, and again, this is an outsider looking in from social media posts and things like that, and sometimes going to the events myself, you make a lot of lifetime friends going to these events.
Yes, and that's been really cool. I get to interact with everybody. I have friends now that I wouldn't have if I wasn't in this position.
Right.
People that I have watched their children grow up.
Right,
and
absolutely.
That's just amazing. I love it. And something new that we started this past month was we hosted an adult game night. And
seems like that has been a winner.
Oh, yes.
For sure.
Yes, we're going to try and add one next month as well. We were like, come out and play, charge just $5 to help us cover the cost of refreshments. We offered alcoholic beverages and things like that.
Which who doesn't love?
Yeah, and gave the grown-ups a chance to because we've done family game nights in the past, and those are great too. We have one of those coming up on Friday.
Okay.
Free, bring the family, come and play. But what we were getting at was, what we were finding was the grown-ups wanted their time to be able to play Cards Against Humanity.
Right, the new phone Who This.
Yes, murder mysteries.
Yes.
That type of thing. So we were like, well, we'll see how it goes, and we had a full house last Friday at St. Cloud.
That's fantastic. The
laughter
photos looked amazing.
Just radiated. It was booming in there. Everybody had a blast.
I was going to say, there's a picture that you guys posted of one of your employees, Kevin.
Yes.
And the laughter on his face. I mean, you can hear the cackling in the photo as you see it. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I love this so much.
Yes, and that was people were commenting I don't know what this is, but I love it.
Yes.
And so we're definitely hoping to keep that going too.
That's fantastic. Now, something that you guys are really, really known for is your mother-daughter, father-daughter mother-son events that you do. Tell me a little bit about those.
So every year we do an annual father-daughter Valentine dance at the Doubletree by Hilton. That is probably our biggest event of the year.
And people go all out.
Yes, they do.
They treat it as if it is almost like a wedding.
Yes.
They're big dresses, the suits.
Tuxes. I've seen limos roll up before.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
It's a really special time. The dads outdo themselves. I got to give them credit for that. We probably had anywhere from 700 to 800 this past year.
Wow, I had no idea it was that big.
Yeah, it's really sweet and it's a fun time. And so then, we've been doing that for a couple years and the moms were like, where's our dance?
Where's our day? Yeah.
So we started doing a mom and son prom. And where it's not on Valentine's Day, we choose a different theme every year for that. And we let the public weigh in. What would you like to see?
Right.
We've done a Roaring Twenties one. We've done disco.
The photos were really cool too.
Yeah, we've done Disco Fever. We've done a Galactic Gala that was space.
How did that one go?
That
one would be really fun, I feel like.
That was cool. And this year we're doing Denim and Diamonds
at their request.
Yeah,
so, I'm excited for it. And way to bring back Britney Spears and JT.
Yes, that picture keeps getting shared. Yes, I can't wait. They always exceed my expectations so far as like the costumes and attire they show up in.
I love it so much. Tell me a little bit about some of the stuff you got going on for St. Patrick's Day.
So St. Patrick's Day is actually going to be handled primarily by our new recreation coordinator. Her name is
putting her out there.
Yeah, her name is Sydney Devaney.
Don't fail now.
Well, because I'm like, we don't usually have time for St. Patrick's Day stuff, depending
on
Easter's
where
Easter
so big
falls.
And Valentine's, right? They're so
but
close.
With Easter being late this year, I'm like, okay, we can get some St. Patrick's Day stuff in. So we always do Patrick in the park. People know to look for Patrick in the park. He's a not cardboard. He's a wooden cutout that travels throughout the park district. And if you take your picture with him and post a selfie, you get entered to win a prize.
Which is fun. It's absolutely just pure fun.
Yes, and so Sydney is going to do. She's doing an adult St. Patrick's Day craft night, which just sold out, as in like this weekend.
Oh, wow.
They're making leprechaun wreaths.
Oh, cool.
And she's going to serve green beer and do it.
How fun.
Do it up. And then she's also doing a family craft night where they're painting like terracotta pots and making their own little pots of gold.
Oh, I love that.
Which will be cute. And they'll have
that'll be adorable
for that too.
Kids will love that. That'll be really fun. And I love that you guys are doing the adult nights because not to put our area down, but your options for going out are either go to a restaurant and have a few drinks or go to a bar.
Right.
Not everybody wants to go to a bar to have a drink, and not everybody wants to go to a restaurant to have that drink.
Right.
So it's nice to get out of your house and meet new people and have that adult night.
Yeah, and just to have an activity to do and something different to do. It's always been important to me that our programming expanded. Not just children. We do plenty for children, too.
Absolutely.
But to try and be more inclusive to everybody and give adults a space where they can unwind, too. That's what we found with game night was so great was folks actually made friends and because they wanted to play games and needed more people.
Well,
so
I was going to say there's people
that
I don't even personally know, but I feel like I know from seeing them at all your events and getting tagged on social media posts. And I think that's really cool that the same people continue to come back and bring more people each time.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You guys have a really cool website. I don't know who manages that for you, but it's pretty awesome, whoever built the site itself. You can go there if you want to make donations. You can book any of the I can't even think of
rental
the word.
Facilities?
The rental facilities.
Yes.
That's the best way to put it. I was going to say shelter. It just was not coming to me. But you can rent the shelters, make reservations for that. You can check out the staff, the cemeteries, the parks, and all that at ghprd.org.
Yes.
Something I want to touch on really cool that you guys are really well known for and is a really humbling event that happens in our community up at Spring Hill Cemetery. So let's talk about the Healing Garden. Is it Healing Gardens?
It's Healing Field.
Healing Field. Okay.
Kevin Brady actually started that when he was here, and it's something that has continued. And it is a national initiative.
Okay.
But we are one of the only ones locally. And what it is it is 3,000 American flags
3,000
placed in
Wow.
Spring Hill Cemetery that represent those lives lost on 9/11.
That is an outrageous amount of flags to get
Yes.
placed each year.
Yes.
So shout out to your team for doing
Yes.
that.
Yes. And we've been lucky enough the past couple years to get volunteers from like Amazon or
Okay.
Texas Roadhouse
That's nice.
to help with that initiative. It is a whole lot of hard work. But our maintenance department runs like a well-oiled machine, as you know.
They are fantastic.
They are fantastic.
They're great,
and
great group of guys and girls.
And they get it done. And so it's a very humbling experience. I think you said it best. And we try to accompany that healing field each year with an annual 9/11 ceremony at Spring Hill Cemetery.
So I read online that that's 110 acres. That's a lot of ground to cover with flags. I mean, I know I keep talking about that, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking in like logistics wise. I mean,
It's a process.
Absolutely, I can only imagine. Now, those of you that don't know, Spring Hill is also the official site for the plane crash victims.
That's
Is that correct? For the Marshall plane crash? We've covered that on another episode. So that is another big event that you guys, I'm sure, have to prepare for each year when everyone gathers for that.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay. Well, I have one more question for you.
Okay.
Now that you are a mom, has that changed the level of stress or weight you have on your shoulders for the expectation to the community with the events that you throw on? Is it a little different now being a mother?
Well, yes. I'm fortunate that I get to do work and work in a place that is so family oriented, and he gets to come along. He's gotten to do several of our events,
and he's the cutest. If you don't follow Lauren on social media or Parks and Rec, sometimes you see his little face popping up at work. He is the cutest. So
he's a good boy. Yes, it makes it different, but it's also super rewarding because I've spent the last almost 10 years of my life
absolutely
watching other people make these memories with their children.
And now
I get to. So it's really special, and I'm really excited for this next chapter where I'm not leaving the recreation department, but I am kind of transitioning.
You're going to be able to enjoy it more as an outsider. I see that.
And have a more normal schedule for his sake too. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I love, like you said, I love that your work environment is supportive of families. I always thought that was great. Your boss, Kathy, is always so welcoming and sweet all the time, so I can only imagine she's a joy to work for.
Yes.
And I, like I said, I'm your neighbor down in the park, so your maintenance team, they save my butt so much.
They're just good folks.
They're fantastic. I can't say enough good things about them. We were thankful to have you on today. This was really...
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
No problem. What I love about Parks and Rec, and I'll finish with this, is that a lot of communities don't have it. Yeah. I talk about this in almost every episode because there's so many things that are available here in our tri-state area that we take for granted that you go into other places and they just don't exist. It's non-existent. So I think it's super cool that we have it right at our fingertips. I think it's super cool that we have a board and staff that encompasses that family dynamic and encourages it. And I think that only brings great things to our community. So thank you and your team for doing that for us.
Thank you. It's
oh,
our
no
pleasure.
problem. No problem at all. Well, with that, guys, I thank you again, Lauren, for being here, and we are out of here.
Thanks for listening to the Tri-State Time Machine, brought to you by Alex R. White, PLLC, at SueDistractedDriver.com. If you have a memory you want Vanessa to talk more about, just send her an email at tstm@mail.com or post a comment on the Tri-State Time Machine Facebook page. Did you like the episode? Be sure to share it with friends and family. It's the only way we can continue this fun work that we do. You can find a link in the show notes that you can use to share it. And be sure to let our sponsors know you like the podcast as well. Their contact information can be found in this episode's show notes.